Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Interviewing the Legends. I'm your host, Ray Shasho. Pure Reason Revolution is a British rock group formed at Westminster University in 2003. Trying to fit PRR into a specific genre would be a difficult task. I would agree with that, which is one of their attractive qualities. The group is set to release their sixth studio album, Coming Up to Consciousness, via InsideOutMusic. Their new to be released album will be put out September 6th. The album features themes of betrayal, deception, fear, grief, mortality, and questions of sanity. Legendary musician Guy Pratt, who is a friend of the show, known for working with the likes of Pink Floyd, of course, played the bass guitar on 7 of the 8 tracks on Pure Reason Revolution's new album. The band tells fans to expect more ambitious bass lines in Coming Up to Consciousness than they've ever heard in any previous Pure Reason Revolution's album. The band was equally thrilled to work with multiple members of prog icons, The Pineapple Thief. The record was mixed by, again, our friend Bruce Sword and mastered by Steve Kitch. Jon Courtney comments, spawned from the bereavement of my dog, was put down. A numb and dry creative spell ensued. But after a meeting with my writer friend Craig Walker, we shared in how the last months had been. He urged me to get this experience down in lyrics and in music. Suddenly the album flew out of me, or out of us. In terms of the recording process, this album was probably the most enjoyable to make, with the various collaborations firing creativity. Please welcome British musician best known as singer, guitarist, keyboardist, and songwriter for the progressive rock band Pure Reason Revolution, Jon Courtney, to Interviewing the Legends. Hello, Jon.
Hi there. Good afternoon.
I got to ask, man, are you the modern era Robert Fripp? Because you remind me of Robert Fripp a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with the electronics and all you do, and you know.
That's a pretty nice comparison to have. In fact, next year we're doing Cruise to the Edge, and Robert Fripp is playing Cruise to the Edge.
You see that? We're all connected.
So I'm definitely going to be going along to that.
Oh, that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Who are some of the headliners on that cruise?
We've got Riverside. Who else? There's Steve Hackett as well. These are the main ones that I saw. It was Steve Hackett, Riverside, and Robert Fripp.
Oh, fantastic.
There are some other fantastic artists, but I just need to double check again. But those are what stuck in my head when I first had a look.
I've got to sign up for one of those cruises.
Yeah.
But they're sold out like almost 2 years in advance. They're very hard to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have a blast on that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you got Guy Pratt on the new album. The guy's a great guy. He's been on the show. Very funny guy. A lot of people don't know he's also a comedian.
Yep.
A real comedian in real life. He does stand up. So it was really fortunate for you guys to get them and 3 of the guys from Pineapple as well.
Yeah.
It pays to know people and be friends with other musicians, especially prog. Prog's a very tight-knit community, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I'm trying to think. I met Guy through a friend of mine, Craig. He was in Berlin. He was the singer in a band called Archive.
Mm-hmm.
And also years ago, Power of Dreams. Anyway, one evening I was scrolling through social media and I saw that Craig had been to see Saucerful of Secrets in Berlin. I was really angry that I'd missed the show, but straight away said to Craig, how was the show? And how did you? I saw that he'd met the band and everything like this. So I said, how did this happen? He said, oh, well, I know Guy. And then tonight I got to meet Nick, and it was just like, oh no, I can't believe I missed this, gutted. But then I quickly looked at the tour dates and I saw they were playing Leipzig, which is only a 2-hour drive from Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
I said to Craig, look, they're playing Leipzig in 2 days. Can we get guest list to go and see them in Leipzig? He said, no problem. He spoke to Guy. Anyway, sure enough, 2 days later, we jumped in the car, went down to Leipzig, fantastic show. And then afterwards, I got to meet the band, which was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, and then sort of, I don't know if I exchanged numbers, but at least gave Guy some music of Fury's Evolution.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah,
What was Nick like? You met Nick Mason as well?
I mean, it was very brief. It was,
Yeah.
thanks for the incredible show, a handshake, and then I think maybe a couple of other words, and then before I knew it, he was shaking someone else's hand. So
Yeah.
I was kind of as I would expect, but I'm just very pleased that I got to shake Nick Mason's hand. So
That's awesome. Me and Nick have the same birthday. We were born on the
uh,
same January 27th. Yeah.
hold on, what's your birthday? 27th of January.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe this, but this is my birthday too.
No, you got to be kidding me. Really? We're both Aquarians, huh? See how
No,
we're all connected? It's unbelievable.
that's unbelievable.
Did you know Nick's birthday was on the 27th?
You know what? I'd seen this again on social media. I'd noticed this before, but it had soon gone out of my head. But you bringing it up, I can't believe it.
That's
So
incredible.
27th of January.
Yeah, I think Mozart's birthday is also on the 27th. You know,
Okay, it's a pretty strong.
You're in good company. This album's great. It really is. I loved it. And it all started with when your dog passed away. Is that kind of how it all started?
Yeah, I would say that this, yeah, if I rewind, going back to autumn time,
Right.
2022, we had our dog put down, 17-year-old dog. He lived a long life, but the emotional impact was a lot bigger than I'd expected. I thought I was prepared for this. Old dog, thought it was ready for it. But I was definitely wrong. Um, and then that's when these sort of feelings of betrayal, this deception, taking him there, this 70-year-old buddy of mine. And then just as I was sort of coming out the other side of this grieving and these horrible feelings. So maybe let's say 6 to 8 weeks later. No, more than that, probably 8 to 12 weeks later. I then had this possible, brush with asbestos, this exposure. And this had been my biggest life fear.
Right.
And really, I'd already had these sort of quite intense feelings of mortality, death with the dog situation, then this asbestos thing. And this flipped me over the edge. I was soon at doctors, therapists, on medication for the first time in my life for this kind of thing. And then I had this OCD diagnosis. And yeah, then I went through a period of not really writing anything. I spent time practicing my guitar, improving my piano playing, a bit sort of theory stuff. And it was going a bit slowly. I wasn't really writing any music. But then I met with my friend Craig, who I mentioned before. And I told him about the not so great few months I'd had. And he said, John, what you've just told me about the dog and about this asbestos thing, he was like, this is an album. He's like, you need to get this down in lyrics. And maybe prior to this point, I wasn't ready to do that. But after our meeting, I really started getting a lot of this stuff down. And around this time also, I sort of thought to myself, forget it. I'm not this guitar and piano thing. I don't need to improve. Let's do it now. And I just wrote the song, and the songs all came out really quickly from that moment onwards, I would say.
It's almost like a concept album in a way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where did you get the asbestos? Where did you get exposed to that?
So this was when I was doing some renovation work.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I mean, I never had it proved whether it was 100% or not. And
right.
And it's kind of doesn't matter. But at that time, when I was already a bit fragile after the dog,
right,
this totally flipped me out.
Right.
And I was concerned because my family had been there too. And in my head, this whole situation was all my fault. I'd catastrophized everything. I was going to pass away very soon. maybe my daughter as well. And it was also real.
Hmm.
And this is what got me to the doctors very quickly. And then from there, it started to get better slowly but surely. I saw someone said, look, if this was asbestos, your exposure was a short exposure. So this is
Right.
unlikely to have a long-term effect on your health and all these kind of things. So it started getting better and better through the months. And then it was sort of this creative block.
Hmm.
And I think when I was ready, then it flowed out, like
It
I
just
said.
flowed out. Yeah. Here's something else we have in common. My daughter has OCD. I know
Ah,
exactly what you're going through.
yeah,
She'll see, she'll kill me if she hears me, but she sees certain things
yeah,
on the ground. I mean, if she sees a syringe on the ground, she'll go nuts. Things
yeah,
like that,
yeah.
you know?
Totally, I can totally relate to this. And then the thing is that the then focusing and the rumination and the fixation
Right.
on this type of thing and then the compulsions. And so though this was like a terrible period for me, back at the end of 2022, I can now look back on it um as something positive.
Yeah,
I learned through this time, and yeah, but it took time.
I know. The hardest thing in the world is to put your dog down. My,
Yeah,
I went through the same thing. We had a, Sheltie,
yeah,
and he was 18 years old, just,
wow,
just like your dog, you know. And he grew up with the kids when they were little until they went to college and everything. I mean, it's very difficult, very, very hard to see. What kind of dog did you have?
Parsons Jack Russell.
Oh, Jack Russell. Okay. Yeah. Did you get another dog or no?
No, and that's the thing. It's people ask this question, and it will it will happen.
Right.
But because of the experience of having him put down was so terrible that I'm just not ready. I can't even think about that.
I know.
Yes, in time we will have another dog. I
Yeah.
love having. So it will happen, but it's just not the time.
We
Yeah.
haven't gotten another one since, but my same thing
Mhm.
happened to my daughter, and she had a Sheltie. We've had Shelties and Collies, all through.
Happy day.
And her dog passed away. We thought her dog was going to last like my dog, 18 years old or so, but it went like at 12, 11 or 12 years old. She
Yeah.
went right out, and instead of getting a Sheltie, she got a Collie, like
Okay.
3 times bigger than the Sheltie. So, but that's how she deals with things. She goes out and gets another animal.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. I can see that. I think I need this little gap, but I can see, like I said, people have asked me this question, and I'm like, not yet, but it will
Not
happen.
yet. Yeah. Yeah. Well, back to the album.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce her name? Is it Aniki? Anika?
And
And
I was just saying, Annika, let's go with Annika.
Annika. Okay. Annika just took over the lead vocals
Yep.
uh, now. And she came from a very interesting band. The name of the band, is it Heilung?
Hello. Yeah. Yeah.
Heilung, which is a very different band. People need to go on YouTube and check them out.
Yeah.
Um, it's a combination of Denmark, Norway, Germany. I mean, it's the Viking Age, the
Sure.
Germanic people, Iron Age, all mixed in together. It's very interesting, and if you're a historian, you'll love it. But Chloe Alper, what is she doing? Is she with another band, working with another band at the time, or
Yeah. I mean, Chloe, she has a very busy day job, and
okay,
then after that, she's part of this band, James.
right?
James, I don't know if you really know those.
Don't know
These.
James. Yeah.
I mean, it's quite. They were a big UK band in the '90s,
Okay.
and in the UK they've moved up. Yeah, they'll do arenas in the UK.
Really?
I
Wow.
went to go and see Chloe with James. When was it? About a month ago. I saw them when I was back in Manchester. Um, and when I was sort of in the demo stage of this record, I chatted with Chloe and said, "Look, what's your schedule? I know it's busy, but what could you do? And she said, I could probably sing on the record, but I won't be able to do any shows.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it was sort of back with the situation we had with the last record where she sang on the album but didn't do shows. And it was sort of like, well, if you do that, is that more confusing for the fans
Right.
than this other possibility we have, which is for Annika to sing on the album and she can do shows.
Mm-hmm.
So, the end of the discussion was, I'm going to sit this album out. It totally makes sense that Annika does this. You toured with her before. She's available for shows. She's
Right.
available for the album. But, with Chloe, the door remains open. We're still good friends. I've been to her shows. It's just a schedule thing at the moment. And
Yeah, you and Chloe go way back.
yeah,
Yeah. You got a great rapport together. I saw you on YouTube on an interview, Yeah.
yeah. I've known Chloe since since I was like 18 or 20.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
cool. I mean, she'll be back.
I think she will be back, and who knows? One day there might be Chloe and Annika on stage, and we'll just have
That's
more
right.
harmony. It'd be fantastic. So, like I said, the door's open, and let's see where things go.
And Annika does a good job. She's a good singer.
It's really good.
She really
Yeah.
is. Yeah. I love it because you got Pineapple Thief involved.
Yeah.
I like Bruce Sword. Love Pineapple Thief. As a matter of fact, they're coming here. I'm in Florida. They're coming to Clearwater pretty soon, which is cool. I like to see more prog bands come to the U.S.
Oh yeah.
because it's tough. It's tough to travel and nowadays. It really is. I wanted to mention one other thing about Chloe and prog. The thing about prog nowadays, you don't just play for one band. Most artists play for 2 and 3 different bands.
Oh, yeah.
It's incredible. It really is.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and I guess people get busy with, projects sort of fluctuate, don't they, with how busy they are and then what the commitment becomes. So, and if you add onto that a day job as well, then it just makes things pretty tricky to juggle. So,
an example is Neil Morris, Portnoy, all those guys. I don't know. They don't have a life. Their life is music.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't see how they do it, man. The new album is incredible. You got a lot of little preludes in this, which is very different. Some of my favorite tracks. Now, a very popular track is Dig Till You Die. I mean, that's getting all kinds of hits, man, on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's a very spacey sound. A lot of your music, of course, is spacey. Like I said, you have a couple of official videos. You have that, and I think you just released Useless Animal as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dig Till You Die. This is talking of Guy Pratt. This is one of the first tracks that went to Guy. And for me, when I'm writing, producing a track, for me, playing bass is a bit of an afterthought. I don't think of the bass line first. It's more about getting the song right, the melodies, the dynamics. So having someone like Guy contribute bass, it's just amazing. So I sent him the stuff. We did it remotely. He did plan to come to Berlin, but we did it remotely. Yeah. And when I got this back after he'd done his thing, I was so pleased. I had a smile, the biggest smile on my face. He's just a master at what he does. So yeah, so this was great. And across the album, he's on 7 of the 8 tracks. I love hearing this person who's playing this specialist instrument doing his thing, and it's not just me doing sort of the best I can on a bass guitar, basically.
The guitar work too. I mean, it's always good in the band. Who plays the guitars? Is it Greg or is it you?
Yeah, it's a mix. On some
it's a mix. Okay.
So yeah, it's a real mix. both.
And John Sykes also plays a little bass too on the album, right?
Exactly, yeah, he plays on the track too. And then you've got Steve who mastered it as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, we've got three of Pineapple Thief on there.
You're half Pure Reason Revolution, half Pineapple.
But in the process with, I really enjoyed working with Bruce.
Yeah,
He said very early on, he said, John, like working on this material is so natural for me.
right.
Because, we're in the same genre. He said I can connect with it really easily. And he contributed some guitar parts. So
You know what I love about you guys? You're prog, but your style is so different from everyone else.
Yeah.
You know, it is different. You know, like it's funny, Dig Till You Die, when it first started, when I first heard the beginning of that song, I was thinking Sade. Because they had an incredible band, you know, and it kind of had that feel to it. And I said, wow, is this a Sade kind of track? And then, of course, a lot of your songs go into a lot of different changes, you know, which I love. And that's what prog's all about, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah. We like playing around with those different moods, like you were saying. Like
right.
one minute it could be something pretty, or then it can go a bit
Yeah.
into something with some riffs, and then back to something a bit jazz tinged or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this album is very different from the previous album. It really is. You can tell a difference, you know, a big difference in the two, you know. Some of the tracks, oh man, The Gallows.
Yep.
Awesome track. Useless Animal, which is a new video which just came out. Talk about Useless Animal. Are all these tracks kind of connected in a way? Like I said before, it's, you know, kind of a concept thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
all the concepts you touched on at the beginning, this betrayal, deception, fear,
Mhm.
greed, reality,
Right.
sanity, these all tie in from this meeting with Craig, and then me coming back and just writing out lyrics. These are the central themes of the album. So you come back to these throughout all the songs. Yeah. So I'd say these are the key concepts that form this concept album.
Yeah, Useless Animal is gonna fare well as well. Well, you know, you got a lot of fans. I've been looking at a lot of your past albums, and you guys have a very good base. You know,
Yeah.
you get a lot of people that love the band. You know, it's a great band. It's an incredible band. It's very sophisticated. You know, which prog is anyway. You know, that's why I like it so much. You know, very sophisticated music.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I have to pinch myself that we're on to our sixth record. And it started not next year, but the year after next, we're going to be touring the 20th anniversary of the Dark Third. So yeah, Greg and I started these university recordings for a project at uni that then became this album that we're playing 20 years later. Seemed unbelievable, and we're incredibly fortunate to have such a supportive label with Inside Out.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah, I mean, what a great label. Yeah, so it's incredible that we get to make album after album. We try and progress with each record, and we still have the support of a fantastic label. So yeah, we're in a very fortunate position, and we're very grateful.
I agree. Here's a great title, Bend the Earth. I love it. That's the first time I've ever heard that title, Bend the Earth. And again, a lot of spaciness going on there.
Yeah.
And how about Lifeless Creature?
Yeah.
And As We Disappear. As You Disappear is I mean, the lyrics are incredible.
Yeah, I mean, this track I initially called Rosengarten.
Okay.
Of the Rose Garden in Berlin where our dog's ashes or scattered.
Oh, really?
It was Rosengarten, but then it changed to As We Disappear because this is the title of the artwork. I don't know if you've seen the artwork of
Yeah, oh
the
yeah,
dog.
the dog. Sure.
So the dog is something I saw in late 2022.
Okay.
Again, instantly connected with the material that I was writing. So I spoke to Jill. Jill has a sort of magic way of weaving her artwork into whatever I'm experiencing at the time. So yeah, then I just really like changing the title to sort of tie in with the artwork.
Lyrics are incredible. Turn your rip the life, immerse, and turn the mind impales to worst. And I'm crippled by a man whose unlove arrests my soul, and I'm riddled with it bad. Now the waves come rolling hold. I mean, very poetic. How do you come up with this stuff, man? I'm a writer too. I'm an author, but when it comes to being poetic, that's what I lack. I just tell it like it is, you know?
I mean, yeah, like I mentioned, there were these concepts that came about through my experiences with the dog, with this asbestos thing. And then with the music and the lyrics, for me, it's give and take. They feed each other. So I'll be
Right.
working on the music, and as I'm doing that, I'll be typing away or writing down
Mhm.
lyrical ideas, and then it just feeds back and forth the whole time. But the stuff always gets a metaphorical mangling with Pure Reason Revolution. You know, it's not always this literal plain text of
Sure.
literally the story as it happened. It gets twisted poetically, you know. So that's what we do. And I love lyricists like whether it's Sid Barrett, Roger Waters, or Peter Sinfield. These are the lyricists that I love. You know, I love reading through inlays and just yeah. So
The end of the song, we're going to glide in rainbows. We're going to glide right up to that hope. Your body lays there till it's all cremated. In turn, you fade into the earth. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
That hit home for me as well. You know,
yeah,
it's because I saw my dog go down as well. Not
yeah,
my dog, my daughter's dog, Lucy.
yeah, yeah.
And we all three of us, you know, my son-in-law, my daughter, we were all in the room together,
Yeah.
and we all cried like a baby. You know, it's hard. It really
Yeah.
is. That's another reason why you may not want another dog. You don't want to go through that emotional thing again. You know,
That's
I
it.
have to go through this again. I mean,
You see, that's what I'm thinking already. I'm thinking if I get a dog, I've got to go through that again. And that's what I can't imagine going through now. I'm forgetting that there could be 10 years or 15 years of
yeah,
good times, you know, the great walk, the companionship, the unconditional love. I'm just jumping over that to
uh,
here. I'm going to be back at the vets again, you know.
I agree.
Yeah.
And you take obviously you take great care of your dog. So this one may live till 20, 21 years old. And that's all you need, you know? They
Yeah.
are family, you know?
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
You got some tour dates coming up. And the first one is, I think, in September 27th in Spain, right? The Be Prague, my friend. Is that like a
Right.
festival, right?
It is a festival, yeah. I believe it's a festival that used to happen, then it went on hiatus for a few years and now it's come back. So
And on the bill is our friend Ross Jennings from
yeah,
Haken. Great
yeah,
band. Yeah.
yeah.
Pain of Salvation. And you got some bunch of other acts on there. Yeah. Um, I
And
wanted
then
to mention about Chloe. She actually scored a hit a long time ago, right? Um, talking about the anti-Spice Girls. I think it was like in 1997. Period Pains. Was that the name of the band?
I can't remember what the title was. Was it Spice Girls We Love You or Spice Girls We I can't remember what the title was.
I haven't heard it yet. I gotta look for that.
See if you can dig that out somewhere on that.
Yeah. I was actually a Spice Girls fan. I did like them.
Yeah.
I
I
thought they
mean,
were.
that single "Wannabe" was, that's a classic, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Yeah. They all meshed well together. They were very talented.
Mm.
Yeah. I understand the band name was actually uh I think did you create it? It was after a Brian Wilson um I don't know, it was a thesis or something like that that you did in college?
Yeah, I had, yeah, I did this thesis on, it was Brian Wilson, genius or hardworking guy.
Right.
Basically looking to do, is he proven to be a genius or just this hardworking guy? And I had to look at various philosophy during this. And one of the books was Kant and his critique of pure reason. So all we really did was take, so it came as part of my research for this book. We were just looking for a band name at the time. So
Hmm.
we were like chopping up and putting all kinds of words together. We had some terrible band names. Um, but we just took the first part, Pure Reason, and then added Revolution because the music to us was exciting. It was revolutionary to us at the time. So that's how you ended up with these words fused together.
Very interesting. It's a great name. It really
Yeah,
is. Sometimes people come out with a name and then you do the research and you find four other bands with the same name
right.
and they don't bother to change it. They said, "Oh, to hell with it." Gets a little
Yeah,
confusing though when that happens. You know,
yeah, yeah.
some of your fans, some of your fans on YouTube described your music, and I found um, two excellent posts about the band. One guy says it's a prog stoner psychedelic rock, grunge, electronica, post rock, everything else melted into one. And I thought that was a good description.
That's brilliant. I'm gonna find that one and I'm gonna use that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next part.
It's excellent. That's good because then your fans know you well, you know.
That's
And
great.
another guy said the music sounds both fresh and familiar at the same time, which I agree with that as well.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely admit that we take influence from the past, but also, give it a contemporary feel too. Production, we always want to produce something to the best we can. So
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Your previous album, Above Cirrus,
Mhm.
that was an incredible album. I mean, people today still talk about that one. One of my favorite songs on the album is Cruel Deliverance.
Yeah.
That could be a James Bond song, like a theme from Bond. That's how good that one is. It's
Yeah.
very clever.
Oh, that does seem to be a track that it's one of the more understated ones on the album, but
Right.
gets a few votes when people say what's your favorite, and I'm always quite surprised that it's yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah,
But then again, you get Our Prism, which
yeah,
which is kind of a 90s grunge era, kind
mm,
of heavy rocker.
yeah, yeah.
You got a couple of official videos that are on there, New Kind of Evil, which is incredible. I think New Kind of Evil I first heard on Morrow.com out of France. I listen to those guys a lot.
Mm,
They do a pretty good job with,
yeah, yeah,
putting out new stuff.
yeah.
And Dead Butterfly, I think also heard on World.com, which is another big favorite of the band, right?
Yeah, we like playing that one live. That's a good one.
Yeah. Scream Sideways
Yeah,
reminded me a little bit of Haken, a little bit, you know.
yeah,
I heard a little Haken in there for some reason.
yeah,
But Above Cirrus, man, that's a incredible album. It really is.
yeah.
What do you think the next album's going to be like? Any idea?
Um, so with this record, I wanted to, if I had any sort of preconceived plans, it was to move away tonally from where my safety chords are, from me going back to D minor. I wanted to push out and find some new shapes, some new chords. So I dusted off my old jazz guitar book,
Oh,
and
cool.
sometimes this would just give me just one chord would be enough to set me off on a whole song. I also wanted to try and steer away from like purees and tricks, like our usual tricks, and maybe loud, quiet. And of course, you get that on this record, but some of the songs just stay down, they stay chilled.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything needs to sound like the world's ending. In
It is. I'm writing a book right now about that, and it's all coming true, unfortunately.
Okay, so next time we'll go back to that. We'll go back.
Yeah.
This album takes a little bit of a back seat. It gives you, there's some tracks that just take a breather. They stay laid back,
Right.
and they don't go hell for leather rocking. That's it. They can just stay chill. I listened a lot to Spirit of Eden, during the making of this. I listened a lot to Elliott Smith, The Smile.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess this had an influence of not everything needing to be rah in your face.
Yeah.
So your question was next record. I don't know. Maybe it will push a bit more in this jazz direction.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there'll be some heavier stuff again. I'm not entirely sure yet, but definitely
Okay.
want to press again. Yeah.
When was the last time you guys came to the States?
This was a long time ago.
Yeah. Any plans?
Aside from Cruise to the Edge,
Right.
there is anything firm. I think it's just going to take the right package. So
Mm.
we'd love to come over with someone like Pineapple Thief. Like this would be the perfect support tour, something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, we need to find the right combination of acts, and then that's when it will happen. So
Need a good promoter to put together a Prague Fest that
yeah,
would tour America,
that would
like
be
maybe
great.
5 or 6 Prague bands,
Yeah,
and completely sweep America. I mean,
right.
that would be wonderful. I wish I would have it. If I had the money, I would do it. I just want to mention 2 other of my favorite songs real quick. Ghosts and Typhoons. Oh my God. And those videos are fantastic, and of course, Silent Genesis.
Yes.
That's another big
Yeah, yeah.
hit that I love. You think you may go bring some of that back again, or mix it with the jazz that you have in mind?
Yeah. Sometimes when I listen back to Ghosts and Typhoons,
Yeah.
sometimes I don't know if I can do better than this. This is what it is. And if people want more of this, I don't
Yeah.
know if I can really top this. So therefore, it's just doing something different.
Right.
I think I can do better, but I don't know if I can do that same thing better.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, maybe there's some sort of jazzy mix up of some riff mayhem that could be something like this in a slightly different direction. But
Mm-hmm.
that's, I don't know. I have to go back to the drawing board with each record and think,
Okay.
what are the changes going to be here?
See, now you're reminding me of Richard Wright, right? He was into that jazz thing too.
Yeah, definitely.
His solo stuff was good, and of course,
Yeah,
the relationship, uh, you know,
yeah,
between Guy and
yeah.
boy, that was fortunate, man. Have your father-in-law be Richard Wright. I mean, come on, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so what were some of the music artists that influenced you?
I mean, if we go back to university time,
Right.
when we started the initial demos for the Dark Third, it would have been stuff, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, definitely. I'm trying to think of the contemporary stuff. If we're talking of the electronic influence, back then
Right.
it was probably like DJ Shadow
Mm-hmm.
or Massive Attack. These were the electronic influences then. And then Floyd for the prog, Led Zepp for the riffs. Um, maybe Muse at the time were probably one of the rock bands that we liked, the contemporary rock bands. Like we didn't know Porcupine Tree until we
Hmm.
started doing shows. Maybe until Steve Wilson was possibly going to mix the record, we didn't really know Pineapple Thief. That came afterwards, like when we found out about a larger scene for progressive rock when we started playing in Germany and this kind of thing. That's when we saw that there was more of an audience, and we thought, okay, this is something we can branch out into.
Yeah, Wilson, that's another guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he's involved in everything. He remixes everything. It's
You're right. Yeah,
incredible.
super busy man.
He's awesome. Man, oh man. Thank God for prog, man. I mean, I was a DJ. I was on the air back in the late 70s. I was a top 40 DJ, and radio is completely out garbage. I mean,
Yeah.
when all the conglomerates took over and one company owns 50 stations, that's where they lost it,
Yeah.
which is a shame. Because there's so many artists like you that could be on the radio and should be on the radio constantly, you know. Well, maybe it'll change back one day. I don't know.
That's it.
John, here's your final question. Here's a question I ask everybody. I get some very interesting answers. If you had a Field of Dreams wish, like the movie, one of my favorite movies, to perform, collaborate with anyone from the past or present, who would that be?
Wow. Can they be dead or alive? It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. No, that doesn't matter. You can create a whole band too. I mean, you can go back to Beethoven, Bach,
You know what? I would pick Kurt Cobain. For me, when I was probably 12 and I came home from school. And up to this point, you know, I was into a bit of rock music, but it was Def Leppard. It was sort of a bit like this cock rock stuff.
Hmm.
I walked in and my brother had borrowed a tape cassette from his a VHS video, and it was the MTV Awards, I think 1992 or 91 or 92. And Nirvana were on it playing Smells Like Teen Spirit, Lithium. And I just couldn't believe it. I saw this, and to me, it was so fresh
Hmm.
and so unbelievable. I was just entranced in this performance and the passion in these songs, the originality.
Yeah.
This is when in that moment, I thought I have to do music. I have to do this. So when I saw that, that's what started me off. And I'd save up my money. I wouldn't use all my dinner money so I could save up to buy a new tape at the
Hmm.
weekend. And I'd buy a new grunge tape, whether that was Nirvana or Pearl Jam or Mudhoney. Um, but it was really Nirvana that got it for me. And that set me off on really my career in music. From that point, I knew that's what I had to do. So for me, Kurt Cobain would be the ultimate person to collaborate.
The 90s and the grunge period was probably the last time rock was in commercial, in front of
Yeah,
everybody. After that, it kind of disappeared, didn't it?
that's it, right? That was the last like big worldwide, like a worldwide movement. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're right.
I was a big Chris Cornell fan.
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
Soundgarden and Audio Slave and yeah, I mean, a lot of those guys, they all kind of passed away too, didn't they?
Yeah,
Must have been a tough time for all those guys.
absolutely.
Yeah. John, you got anything else you want to promote? Did we cover everything?
Just want to say check out the new record coming up to consciousness, give it a spin, and please send us in messages to let us know what you think.
It's a great album. I'm going to give it 5 stars. Why not?
Great.
Oh yeah. You guys are awesome, man. You really are. You can pre-order the new album now. Coming up to consciousness. I guess they can go directly to your website or
Yes.
Inside Out Music, I guess.
Yeah. We can get
And
it.
it's going to be out September 6th.
It's-
Yep. For more information about Pure Reason Revolution, you can go on your website. You're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, I want to thank Mr. Roy Avon of Royal Avenue Media,
yeah.
who aligns all my prog bands for me. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Jon, thank you so much, man, for being on the show. We'll stay in touch.
Yeah.
You guys are doing magic. You really are.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you for having me.
You guys are awesome. Take care, Jon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.